Well, the Bastions of Te Reo certainly copped some criticism this year. Are you banned from MTS, Hone?
Apparently. I don't know why. I think that, what's his name? The guy in charge doesn't like me. But I mean, when you're talking about Te Reo, when you're talking about Te Reo, the man should learn to speak the bloody Reo himself first before sacking the receptionist who can't. If you listen to his Reo's pathetic. And yet he's sacking these two poor receptionists who are really, really nice people. And the job of reception is to make people feel comfortable, eh? And he's sacking them because they can't.
Is he being a bit tough, though? I mean, it's fair enough for your front line to be speakers of Māori, isn't it, Tau? Is Hone being a bit tough on Māori TV and Paora Maxwell? No,
I don't think so. I agree totally with what Hone is saying. Look, the fact is that, you know, there are several lines you can argue against this. Is it a redundancy? It's not a redundancy. What about their contracts? Is there anything in their contracts that said they had to? You know, a decent person would have said, if it was you and I was the boss, I'd said, bro, how about we go and put you on a couple of courses, you know, and we'll keep you on, do everything, and we'll train you up. See, that's really simple. Yep. No daru.
Do we agree? Are we agreed frontline should be Māori speakers, though, Claudie? Isn't Maxwell on the right track?
Well, and it goes to the heart of the Reo strategy as well too. So if the Māori television is one of the drivers of that strategy, but the problem that I have with that is that it's made by people who are native speakers, first language speakers, and not those that are like myself and Tau, who have come through as second language speakers. So you end up with a workforce that are still learning, still on the journey of Te Reo, and then you expect them overnight to be fluent speakers. It's just not going to happen, and that strategy has a lot to pay for that.
Let's go to the performance of Māori TV. Is it going well or not? Yes or no?
Well, you'd have to say with the quality of staff that have left in the last 12 months that the answer is no.
Right.
I mean, you've got really top quality people who've all moved out of there, and people don't all abandon ship because it's going well. I want to go to something seriously.
I want to go to the Mātāwai strategy. You're a part of that, Tau. Is it on track now? It's about devolving power in terms of the Reo to tribes.
Yeah, it is. It's about putting I suppose, in inverted commas, the ownership of Te Reo, or the onus of Te Reo and how it moves forward, back into iwi's hands. Now, there's a lot of grumbling around whether this is going to do anything.
Although Karetu said iwi killed it all off. The language was started in the urban areas by people like your mother-in-law, Peter Sharples. I've forgotten that.
I've got some sympathy with what Timothy says. Yeah. The fact of the matter is that no piece of legislation is going to save the Māori language. Right. No. It's going to help, you know, funding and issues like that is going to help. But
that's right. And we can't forget the genesis of that language movement came from the urban areas. And we were all second language learners. Right. And so it can't all just rest with iwi. We've got to come back to the urban areas as well too and have a dedicated strategy. But I can't see any strategy, any real thought being put around the majority of Māori who are in town, who are on that language.
The minister says as well, in your clip, basically that the onus, the way it's going to survive, it's in our hands, not in anybody else's.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Everybody has to play a part.
A lot of money, Hone, on the Reo. We've got this continual scrap with National Kohanga Reo Trust and the government. Now, the Kohanga Reo Trust hasn't committed fraud. We've seen, you know, you saw that interview with Derek Fox. Sure. What should happen now in terms of the Kohanga Reo Trust and
there's stuff
and the way forward?
There are changes that need to be made. They are internal. That's a conscious decision that Eri Tana and I don't even think she's on the board any longer, but she's still the boss. That Eri Tana needs to make, that the board needs to make, and that the Kohanga regions need to make. They're in that process now. I just sincerely hope that they come out of it with something which is more connected to what's happening on the ground, so that it's not just those people who fly into Wellington who make those decisions, so that the people who are actually delivering on the ground are part and parcel of the decision.
30 seconds with you, Tau. Have you got any sympathy for the Trust? Because it seems like
I always will have sympathy for the Trust, and I agree with Hone. And here's an update. Daniel Proctor from Te Tairāwhiti, in his early 30s, late 20s, has just been appointed to the board. New trustee.
Tell your relation Hekia to start talking with them then.
She's not my relation, she's your relation. She's from Ngāti Porou. Anyway.
Kia ora.